Years after, I was no contact with my mother's side of the family. Like, I went no contact with my mother. I lost everyone. That's what happens, that whole thing. My eldest daughter formed a relationship with my mother and my grandmother, and along with that came the entire group of relatives. And I was fine with that. She was an adult at that point. I wasn't fearful of her safety, emotional or otherwise. At some point, she came to me and told me that her uncle, my brother, was having a bar mitzvah for the nephew I had never met. And she asked if she could bring her younger siblings, my two children, who would have been about 10 and 13 or 14 at that time. And I thought about it and I decided to discuss it with my two younger children. And they wanted to go. They wanted to meet those relatives and just kind of have a feel for, where they came from. So I let them go. And before my son left the house, he would have been 13 or 14 at this point in time, he said to me, Mommy, I don't want you to worry about anything. I am my mother's son, and nobody is allowed to speak poorly of you. And with that, he went to the event, to the bar mitzvah. It's a birthday party, basically. Anyway, while he's there, my aunt comes up to him. And by the way, my daughter was with him, like suction cup the whole time, my younger daughter. He was very mindful of taking care of her and making sure that nobody was allowed to do the smear campaign with a 10-year-old child. So he kind of knew what time it was, which looking back now, I'm so proud of. Anyway, my aunt says to him, do you think something like really happened with your mom, like with my father, my grandfather? And my son, without missing a beat, said to her, well, what do you think? And my aunt actually said, I think something happened, and left it there. So she acknowledged that she believed me in some fashion and that I wasn't the family liar in her eyes. Yet she still stands to this day in the narcissistic family system. It's not explainable. And having that memory now gives me a sense of peace of knowing, one, that I did the right thing, which I already knew, but two, that I wasn't crazy in thinking that they all knew and did nothing, and that I didn't lose them in the no contact. I never had them.